Briefly yesterday, had a little bit of difficulty with the phone line, but back with us, presumably loudly and clearly and always persuasively, my old friend Ari Fleischer, one of the authors of the Growth and Opportunity Report. Ari, it is good to be back with you. Thanks for joining us again on America's Forum.
Thanks, JD. And if anybody knows about loudly, it's you and John.
Thanks, Ari.
Fair enough.
We do resemble that remark. Now, Ari, yesterday we had you briefly, and it seemed that both the chairman and, quite frankly, you to a certain degree, were talking about the mechanics of campaigning. In other words, now that we've switched over to the internet and making use of data, etc. But let's get to the message. I want to get to your report a little bit more in detail a little bit later, but just with the new ads that are out, with Scott Greenberg, who I'm sorry, in my mind, he bears an uncanny resemblance to the pajama boy of Democrat infamy a couple of months ago. What is the method behind the seeming madness? Do these ads, do you think they're going to work for the RNC?
Well, the point here is people who used to say the Republicans don't even talk to me, they don't care about me, are hearing Republicans who look like them, act like them, talk about them. And that's a big part of how you connect with somebody. You know, it occurs to me that if a candidate running for office says people should self-deport, no Hispanic, other than the core conservative base of Republican Hispanics, is going to listen to the next sentence he or she says. And that's part of communicating. You have to make people connect, and that means you have to show you care about them.
Now, Ari,
go ahead, John.
I wanted to ask you, is Scott Greenberg a real person, or is he just a character that's been created for this ad campaign?
I have no idea. That's, the RNC does these ads. I'm not their ad maker, so I have no idea.
In fairness, as I understand it, he is a genuine registered Republican. This is not a dramatic recreation. But I want to go back, Ari, because words do make a difference. And you will recall back in the days when our old friend J.C. Watts ran the House Republican Conference, he said there are two ways to deliver a message. You could say, "Woman, you got a face that would stop a clock," or, "Darling, when I gaze into your eyes, time stands still." Now, you mentioned the term self-deportation, but there's another way to say that we're a nation of laws and our laws should be enforced. And I think that resonates far more than the self-deportation comment, but it is emblematic of times it's not so much what you say, but how you say it to different people.
The Republican problem when it comes to message. Yesterday I was making the point mechanically the party is really checking the boxes and doing the things a smart, modern party should be doing, and I credit Reince Priebus with that. But that's part of the equation. The rest of the equation is who are you, what do you stand for? What's your ideology and what's your message? And on that front, I think, frankly, it's an open question about Republicans. And there are some big splits. The Republicans have big splits. The Democrats have big splits. Politics is changing. And what's always important, though, as you change, is for the party to be welcoming and inclusive. And I think for an awful lot of Americans, they don't think the Republican Party has been welcoming or inclusive. I think we can be a nation of laws. We must be a nation of laws. At the same time, we recognize that people want to come here for freedom and come here for opportunity. And that's what legislation is about. How do you balance those two? And this is where, if Republicans are seen as being a party that just does not want people to come to this country, because that's a perception, we'll never win the White House again. We'll do great in off-year elections. We're going to have a wonderful 2014, but it's going to be a false narcotic for what's going to happen in 2016 because it's such a different electorate that shows up in presidential years.
Well, let's talk about 2016 a little bit and the issue of immigration. Ari, if the GOP does take control of the Senate in 2014, are you saying that they must do something, pass something, some sort of immigration reform, in addition to what's already been passed in the Senate, pass a new version that could pass in the House as well, a GOP-focused bill before 2016 to really have any inroads with those voters?
Well, 2 points. One is after this 2014 election, what's going to define the party more than anything else is who the presidential nominee will be. That's more important than anything Congress does or does not do. And so it's the person who we pick who will send the messages and define the ideology of the party, and either people, conservatives, moderates, ticket splitters, Hispanics, Asians, whites, will rally to that person or not rally to that person. So that's the most important. Secondarily, Congress is supposed to fix problems. And I can understand why you don't do something because of politics. You might tick somebody off. But, you know, at the end of the day, we do have a broken immigration system. We have a broken tax code. We have a lot of brokens. And we send these people to Washington to make the best solutions possible out of these brokens. And if everybody's always waiting until after the next election so they can get more members, we're never going to get anything done in this country.
So you think now's the right time to do something, not wait till after 2014 to keep pushing ahead with this plan?
Well, look, I think the reality is nothing is moving in the House. The Senate passed something. The House is not going to pass anything. And what's important to me is that whoever our nominee is in 2015, heading in 2016 when we have a nominee, is somebody who can win support for Republicans in places where Republicans don't win support. You know, George W. Bush got 44% of the Hispanic vote. Mitt Romney got 27%. If Republicans don't get above 35, 36, 37% of the Hispanic vote, we will never win the White House again. It's just that simple.
Well, the challenges continue to face the party to try and recruit new voters. New effort with those commercials we showed you. Ari Fleischer, thanks so much for being with us, and thanks for your input on the Growth and Opportunity Project.
My pleasure, guys. Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure.
Thank you, Ari. Remember those old days on Ways and Means when he was our press spokesman and from the U.S. Capitol to 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue working for President George W. Bush as press secretary. Hey, your chance to weigh in on what we're talking about. How do Republicans recapture the political momentum? Well, tweet us your comments at Newsmax TV, hashtag America's Forum, or you can visit us at facebook.com/Newsmax. And old dependable email. Email us your comments, connect@newsmaxtv.com. Stay with us.